Hello there everybody. Now, as you may be able to tell from the screen here, I'm going to forego my usual intro of jollity and frivolity and frankly vacuousness, because tonight we deal with one of the great behemoths of the latter half of the 20th century. Yes, that's right, Norman Tebbit, minister in the 1980s in the Margaret Thatcher government, has died at the age of just 94. What's that old phrase? Only the good die old? Is that the phrase? I forget. Anyway, some people will say that we shouldn't celebrate the life of this man because, you know, he was an egregious homophobe, which is true, but he was also the Minister for Trade during the miners' strike and took great glee in the destruction of working class communities up and down the country because he was a quote unquote libertarian. There's that as well. Also his lack of any decency in telling people who were unemployed to get on their bike and go to find work, which, you know, wasn't available. So there was that. And of course his cricket test, which, for those who don't know, was basically a racist piece of nonsense that tried to define Britishness based upon which fucking cricket team you supported. No, Kev, calm down. He was still a human being. Okay? He was still a human being, and worthy of the respect of any human being. And in that time-honoured tradition, I would like a minute's silence to celebrate the life of Norman Tebbit. motherfucking crab! I'm a motherfucking crab, yo! I'm a crab! Snip, 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 snip. I'm a crab! I'm a crab. Don't know if you've heard the news, everybody, but I am in fact a very sweaty, drunken, blind crab. I've got both of the eyes have fallen off. One of them's on the wall. I don't know what the fuck happened to the other one. That's gone. Oh, holy moly. It's too fucking hot. Can old dead cunts die during the winter, please? It's too fucking hot for this shit. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed that. Just to make it very clear, I am extremely glad that Norman Tebbit is dead. It was a brilliant way to start the day. Anyway, should we get No Justice on? Because that was supposed to happen. Fucking hell. Sorry, everyone. I got waylaid in the beer garden watching the football. It was fucking beautiful. Oh, a nice bit of sun. A cold beverage down the gullet. Oh, let's fucking go. That's what summer was made for, mate. Where we at? Hang on a minute. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You can give me money if that's the thing you wanted to do. You can. Oh. Fucking hell. Sorry, everyone. I'm a bit all over the place. That's them coming to fucking take me away.
Painful. Hey, millionaires. Millionaires suck.
Well, indeed they do. Tebbit or not Tebbit? That is the question.
Why are you dancing a jig, Jeremy?
I literally just was as well. I did my crab dance. It was sweaty.
Excellent.
Sweaty and drunk. The best kind of thing to do a crab dance.
I was informed by chat you were dancing on the grave of Norman Tebbit.
I would wank on the grave of Norman Tebbit. I would literally masturbate onto his grave.
Would you piss, shit, and cum?
All at the same time? Order? Yes.
In the same way, fuck it, yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like a fucking fountain. It'd be amazing. Anyway, how are you? How was it? I saw a part of the what you call it, the Normal Island stream today. It was very good.
It was a particularly good Normal Island today, I thought. Yeah. We only had a couple of stories, but we managed to get some really good conversation out of it, which was nice.
Yes, indeed. What a waste of perfectly good semen give. Yeah, but there's nothing better than wanking on a dead homophobe's grave, because it's exactly what he wouldn't have wanted. You know?
I would have a kid at fucking a guy on top of his grave.
True. I must have told you this, my little factoid about Mary Shelley. That she lost her virginity on her mother's grave.
I didn't know that, but that's exciting.
It's really gross. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but she did. There you go. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fucking in a graveyard, fine. It's a weird kink, but go for it. But on your mum's grave,
it's a bit fucked up.
It's a bit mental, in all honesty.
So Lisa's Learning says, this is the most British stream I've ever stumbled upon. My God, you make me miss England. And I mean, we are pretty British. Although I would like to point out that no matter how much everyone else hates Britain, who's outside of it, we hate Britain more.
I was about to say, I don't know where you live, caller, but it must be fucking terrible if you miss England in any way whatsoever.
Well, it depends which part of England you're in, you know. There's a difference between missing England because you're in Liverpool or missing England because you were in, I don't know, Slough.
True. Again, to quote the former poet laureate, come friendly bombs and fall on Slough. It isn't fit for humans now. And by the way, the only good Ricky Gervais thing that's ever happened, if you get to go and watch, it's probably available online, go and watch him as the character from The Office, reading through that poem Slough and tearing it to pieces. It's fucking brilliant. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like, because at one point, the characters, the poem says something like, and the women frizz their hair out with peroxide. And he goes, what, doesn't he like girls or something? It's fucking brilliant. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, we have multiple football-themed stories to go over tonight.
Do
One
we?
of them is very flippant and non-political, and the other one is extremely political.
Okay.
So the flippant and non-political story is, wasn't that an excellent match this evening? Did you see the ludicrous display?
I did. Well, the problem with England is they try and pass the ball in. I mean, quite literally in some cases, and they were fucking excellent at it today. Yeah, 4-0.
Literally.
Yeah, very
It turns
good.
out just you see against some of these teams in the women's women's game, you can literally just football drill your way into beating these people because England has this incredibly well put together institution of football training and scouts and all of the infrastructure available to make the women's game successful because we are the biggest footballing nation in the world, and
Well,
a
that's
lot of
not
these countries don't
geographically
have-
true.
No, but true in terms of money, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And so, whereas countries like the Netherlands don't have any of this, and it's just some women who like playing football.
Well, no, to be fair, the Dutch do have some decent players. My Damo, I think, did she win European Player of the Year? I can't remember. Anyway,
okay.
but yeah, no, they're not quite at the same level. But the reason I was happy that the Dutch lost is not just because it's England, but they had a player called Van der Donk, and that's not a serious country. You deserve to lose. If you're gonna be silly with your stupid names, with your Van der Donks and your fucking Van der Merwe, that's not a name. That's a sound.
Serious problem.
Yeah, exactly. With your
Hit the dude what
Jizz
new.
camps and such. Literally the real name of a real Dutch footballer. Fucking mental. Yeah. Although not as bad as the Dutch in South Africa with things like Joost van der Westhuizen. That's just a series of noises. That's not even a real name. Rassie van der Dusen. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. Sorry. That's my little
Oh, it's a
rant
very
over.
African name, that. So much African in Van der Dussen.
Oh, yeah. And Francois de Klerk. It screams Hutu at me. Yeah. Or no, Zosa?
Zulu.
Or whatever. Yeah,
Zulu.
whatever. There's
Zulu.
too many of them. There's too many. What you need, Africa, you put all your tribes into like 3 or 4 that I can remember easily, please.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that people talk about like the barbarians of the continents outside Europe, and yet there's like a big tapestry of different ethnicities and tribes and different groups of people
Yeah.
across Africa and Asia. You know, you look at Syria and all the kind of multitude of different ethnicities who've lived in Syria for centuries and millennia, and every single country in Europe is all very specific ethnicities because all of the minority ones got fucking genocided.
Literally. Well, I was the fantastic Frankie Boyle line. He said, Serbia, it gets a bad rap, but it's actually the most tolerant nation in all of the world because they killed all of their intolerant citizens.
So it's just like the Labour Party.
Basically, yes. To the person asking, Wales are currently 2-1 down to France and thus, unfortunately, about to get knocked out of the tournament mathematically, which is a shame. But, you know, Wales are some of the aforementioned, not necessarily entirely professional players, and so just getting there was pretty good.
Now, speaking of a shame, it's also a shame in that Nisa Nandi stood up in Parliament today talking about the love that Britain has for the game of football.
Indeed, she
And
did.
when it
Yeah.
came to vote on a bill,
It was
to-
specifically, I know the thing you're talking about now. The Liberal Democrat amendment. Yes, that's right, everybody. The Liberal Democrats had a cool thing they tried to do and failed miserably, but they tried.
They did?
Yeah, they wanted to have a free Premier League football on the television.
only 10 Premier
10
League games shown
10
for
games,
free.
yeah.
Like, hardly a big ask, and it's not even difficult to implement either. Right?
There are 20 teams in that league, each of which play 38 games domestically per season. So having 10 total out of the hundreds that get played is not that big a deal.
Well, no, because you can get 10 games with all 20 of them. So every single person who supports a Premier League team can have their moment of watching it on terrestrial TV, right?
And
it's not a big ask. In the slightest.
Everyone loves watching Everton versus West Ham. It's one of the
Exactly.
highlight games of the season.
Exactly. Like, you could even do it to try and get like the sloppy seconds that Sky News doesn't even want, or Sky Sports even.
Yeah, exactly. So just literally the merest crumb from the table of the game that the working classes invented and popularised.
Indeed, absolutely, and has been removed from their access. Not even Rishi Sunak had access to Sky TV as a kid, and that
No,
this is
although
what Lisa.
interestingly, every single member of parliament can claim all access, complete packages for Sky TV on taxpayers' expense.
Love it, love
So
this.
they get all of the free football.
Indeed, and Labour voted down this amendment. It wouldn't even be difficult to implement. There's a concept in the UK called the crown jewels, which is that there are certain sports games that are not allowed to be shown on anything other than terrestrial.
And as opposed to the actual crown jewels, we didn't steal all of it from India.
No, in fact, we invented a lot of these.
We
sports,
did literally, we did literally do that. We're not the best at them anymore, but we did kind of write down the rules and that, and that was
when
cool.
you
So even that.
I mean, to be fair, Kev, when you deliberately force the best bowler you've ever created into retirement so that you can field fucking brides and casts, you deserve to not longer be the best of them in the world. Honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of true. And if you consistently keep picking Zach fucking Crawley for some reason, what does he have naked pictures of Brendan McCullum or something? What the fuck has he got on these people?
and has Sam Cooke shagged Luke Wright's wife?
Almost certainly, I imagine. Yeah, like
that's my assumption here.
You must be. It must be. Look, I love Chris Woakes to death, but if he is your strike bowler, you cannot bowl. You are shit. That you are just not good enough. He was an excellent third option behind England's two leading wicket takers of all time. On his own, he's not. No, he's not good enough.
I mean, and also he's only good in England, right? Like I watched his spell against India at the last Test match live in the stands, getting sunburn. He was excellent, right? As soon as he's not got a Duke's ball in hand, and you give him an SG or a Kookaburra, not got a fucking clue what he's doing.
True.
But anyway, back to the issue. There was an amendment by the Lib Dems, so there will at least be some Premier League games available for free to watch.
Yeah.
And the Labour Party voted it down by a giant margin.
Yes, of course, joined by the few Tories that even bothered to turn up. Yeah. Indeed, voted it down completely. Which just goes to show you, those tickets to the Arsenal came in handy. They really did. All of those corporate gigs where you get to go to the football and all the rest of it. I'm sure they had absolutely no play whatsoever in the fact that they three-line whipped them into voting down this very minor piece of concession to the working class.
And on top of this, right, even if it didn't have any actual bearing over how they voted or how they whipped their MPs for this vote, right, it stings. It must sting, especially when Keir Starmer brandishes his working class identity. My dad was a fucking tool maker, right? For you essentially to be saying, from your position as Prime Minister, free football for me, no free football for thee, right? And this is just putting it on the fucking terrestrial TV. They're not asking for tickets. They're not asking for box tickets. They're not asking to be put up in special accommodation like Keir Starmer has been in his tickets to the Arsenal. No, they're just asking it to be broadcast on fucking ITV. That's too much for Keir Starmer.
Yeah, well, because Rupert Murdoch doesn't want it, and he's the only person. He and Benjamin Netanyahu basically run Britain. Like they get to decide. He has. Well, yeah. I mean, but that's sort of a proxy of Netanyahu, really. He just. Oh my God. He fucking Netanyahu nominated Trump for Nobel Peace Prize, which just goes to show you Trump was right. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. Amazing. They should by rights give it to Obama again just to boil his piss, because you know that would be the thing that would hurt him more than anything in the world.
Do you think Netanyahu did it to Trump to say sorry for the fact that he got mad about Iran?
Almost. Oh, absolutely. He had to go there and suck some big dick. Yeah. When I say big dick, I mean little dick, but you know what I mean. Big time. It was fucking embarrassing. There are two war criminal pieces of shit.
Yep.
Unlike Mr. Peter Wood, who, as far as I'm aware, has not committed any war crimes. As far as I'm aware.
At time of recording.
Who resubscribed to me. Thank you very much. Thank you, some random geek, who is now 41. Well, my condolences. But anyway, thank you for resubscribing 54 months. Thank you, KSO, for resubscribing. And we were on a hype train and I didn't even know. I was too busy drunkenly crab dancing, I believe. But thank you for that anyway. Yes, and thank you to Tess with money on YouTube who says Ed Balls. So we now know who you are, trying to Google yourself again. That still has to be one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened on that shithole of a website. Was Ed Balls searching Ed Balls but accidentally tweeting Ed Balls.
Love it. We'd love to see it.
True.
Oh, actually, my favourite ones is the guy who accidentally tweeted out thinking it was his burner account saying, "As a young black man," and it was a fucking sitting member of Congress or some shit.
Yeah. Actually, I did see another one, actually. Whilst we're on it, I've got PMQs lined up. We'll get to it in a second. There was another one this week. People may remember I debated a guy called... what was his fucking name again? I definitely did bookmark this. Don't fuck around with me, you fucking Twitter, you pricks. Where is it?
Thank you. So I say thank you, Les, for the 5 gifted. I appreciate your support.
Here we go. So, a guy called Cybersmith.
Cybersmith, I remember that.
Yeah. Fucking weirdo libertarian freak who literally... I made the joke, do you want to get pegged by Thatcher? And he, giggled. He didn't say no, he just giggled. Okay. This is my favourite one, right? So, he said, "Oh bugger, it's like the O in certain Celtic names. It's a full-blown name itself. Should be AOC. Sorry, at AOC." And someone says, "Did you think her name was like Alexandria O'Cortez?" For a moment, yes. Honestly,
also,
generational intelligence we've got going on here.
I'd like to point out, Deathcore Doggy at Samoyedcore. This person is famous. I don't know if you knew that, Kev.
No.
Do you know what? Can you hazard even a closest guess of what this person is famous for?
Fucking a dog.
I mean, close. No, they popularised the term Eve Fartlow. They are the progenitors of Eve Fartlow.
Legend! Fucking legend! Oh. She's tired. She is. She's tired.
Free parking.
Anyway, we should start recalling to Alexandria O'Cortez. Fuck it, why not?
Alexandria Cortez.
Indeed. We did have another video we were going to watch, but you've been streaming forever, so I reckon we just do PMQs and then you can go to bed.
Was that the one about the Van Man video? We didn't. I have talked about it briefly on stream. I didn't show the video, but I talked through my disagreements with the video basically. So I
fair enough.
If you want to cover it with your stream, then feel free to.
I might do. Yeah.
There was a clip after this. There was a clip I wanted to watch of. They got a member of the BMA on the Jeremy Vine show to debate some twats. It's got Carol Malone on it, so sparks are gonna fly, right?
No.
But the union member, crushes rightoid kind of content. I think that's pretty good for engagement. So
yeah, fair dues. So let's watch a bunch of Malters talk shit.
Melt Brigade.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions. Durham Paffey.
Question number 1, please, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Oh, fucking hell, he turned up for once. Jesus. I wonder which member of his front bench he'll make cry today. Who knows?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On Monday, we mark the 20th anniversary of the despicable terrorist attacks on 7/7. The painful memories of that dark day.
Oh, I forgot to even mention that in my eulogy, my fuck eulogy, if you will, to Tebbit. He blamed, because he was literally a big Rivers of Blood was correct type guy, right? He fucking hated immigration and all of that. And he blamed the 7/7 bombings on we've let the Muslimics in, so of course bombs are going off. Even though during his lifetime he had seen 2 separate sets of white European Christians bombing British cities. Firstly, the Luftwaffe, and then secondly, and he really should have been aware of this, the IRA. Because they nearly killed him in the Brighton bombing. In fact, his wife was permanently disabled because of that bombing. And he had to quit his role when he probably would have succeeded Thatcher. He had to quit in 1992 at the general election to take care of his fucking wife. So you think it would be in his head, white Christian Europeans were bombing them before the Muslimics ever fucking turned up. But no, in his head that meant brown people bad. And you know what? That's why I fucking support laughing at his death. He's a cunt. Sorry, go on.
Yes, he is. And I think it's worth pointing out. We keep saying, "Oh, weren't the 7/7 bombings bad?" I'm like, well, we're going to get another one. We're going to get another one now.
Yeah,
You know, it's inevitable.
we're literally
Inevitable.
doing worse shit now. We're literally aiding and abetting the genocide. Also, interestingly, little fact just to keep in mind, because this will come up at some point in the next 10 years. But keep this. The Kev was on top of this one. SAS troops were sent to Cyprus about 6 months ago, right? And there was, I forget, it's something like a Code 3 warning or whatever, which is basically when the Ministry of Defence put out a warning to the media and say, don't talk about this for national insurance reasons. Not national insurance, national security reasons, right? Sorry, I'm a little bit drunk. National security reasons. And for some reason, the journalists are okay with that and just go, yeah, okay, Daddy, Ministry of Defence, we'll silence ourselves. So there's been absolutely no reporting on where those SAS troops went to. So they were sent from Britain to Cyprus, a stopping off point that we know is used by RAF aircraft to then fly on to Gaza. What happened to those people? Are they serving? Do we have actual active British service members in Gaza taking part in this genocide right now?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be remotely surprised in the slightest. But again, something to come up, because it will be released eventually, because eventually the gag order ceases and then they can publish about it. And we'll learn all about exactly how we weren't just aiding and abetting, we weren't just doing reconnaissance flights, there were literally British service personnel murdering Palestinians. Mark my fucking words.
I mean, he literally went to fucking RAF Akrotiri and was there saying, I can't talk about what you're doing here, but you're doing excellent work.
Yeah. What's that? We may be able to blame the IRA for Ian Duncan Smith. Well, technically, yes, Ian Duncan Smith did take over from Tebbit. That is true. But, like, it wasn't up or down, really. It was just a continuation of shittiness.
Are deeply ingrained. 52 people were murdered. Many more were injured. We thank our emergency services who ran towards danger with true bravery.
We're such a shithole country, we can't even build a parliament where the parliamentarians don't have to sit like children on the fucking floor. Look at it. Look, what the fuck is... These are not like random people, these are members of parliament elected. And they just have to sit on the floor cross-legged. What the fuck is this? How shit is this? Build some more fucking chairs. What is beyond the wit of you to build a fucking extra row?
What's the reduced number of MPs? Do we need 650?
Alright, Guy Fawkes, calm yourself.
And send our deepest condolences to the victims, the survivors and bereaved, and all those forever affected by that appalling day. May I also extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Lord Tebbit.
Fucking briefcase cunt! Shut up! That's all I have to say on the matter.
Remember his profound courage in the face of terrorism and a fierce devotion to his wife, Margaret. May he rest in peace.
Can I mention the
No.
homophobia or the miners' strike thing or the cricket test? Although, to be honest with you, his cricket test was far less fucking dangerous than the nation of strangers, so who knows? I don't know.
Mr. Speaker, we also mark the 30th anniversary.
He was just a fan of Enoch Powell. You quoted him.
Anniversary of the genocide at Srebrenica. We remember those lost and redouble our efforts to fight hatred and intolerance wherever it exists.
Fucking excuse me. Are you joking? Are you actually joking, mate? You're now doing we're redoubling our efforts to make sure there's no more genocide. Motherfucker, you are Mr. Genocide. You literally are Prime Minister Genocide of Genocide South. You are him. What are you talking about?
You see, like he's just saying, they're literally just out there, like, with the blood-soaked cloth that he's just finished wiping his hands with, going, and also we want to stop the genocides.
Yeah. Like, you might as well be doing this whilst parading around in the knickers of the woman you just killed. That you would be literally less ridiculous if you did that. You fucking prick.
but then I mean, one can only assume that's what the British soldiers that might not theoretically be on the ground in Gaza are doing.
Yeah, the ones taking the
alongside
photos,
their IDF
yeah.
compatriots. Yeah. Post for Instagram.
Indeed. What's the cricket test? Oh, right, okay. Tebbit, bizarrely, this was an interview to the LA Times, of all fucking places. Anyway, he came up with this idea of testing the Britishness of immigrant families and, you know, the progeny thereof, the future generations, about how they may or may not have integrated based on whether they still cheer for their quote-unquote home team. So, like, if their granddad was from Jamaica, do they still support the West Indian cricket team or the England cricket team? That sort of thing, which is pretty fucking stupid and just a little bit racist. And like, who gives a fuck? Like, I see people supporting the Indian team and the England team at the ground, and I think, oh, that's beautiful. They get along. It's like, that's multiculturalism done right, surely. I
mean, I just, my opinion on this one very specifically, like, it does kind of grate a little, but like, who fucking cares, you know? Like, this is not a sign of a lack of integration. Like, who gives a shit, honestly?
Honestly, I'm not attacking you here. I'm genuinely curious. Does it grate for you that that's the case?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I welcome these people as part of my country, right? For example, like, I think it's beautiful that our national dish is chicken tikka masala because it was invented by a British Bengali, right? A man who came from Bangladesh and made Britain his home, made Scotland his home, very specifically. And it's why we treat chicken tikka masala as being British, and that British Asians are British, and we celebrate that, right? And I think that I don't see a problem with it. What I think is it antagonizes, right? But it makes other people think, well, why do you not support us? You know, I don't care, right? But
well, that's the thing. I don't see England as us as such. Don't get me wrong. I want the England team to do well. I see them as my team, quote unquote. But I don't see them as us. For a start off, most of them are posh lad wankers. Secondly, half of them are born in South Africa. So, like,
it's also true.
You know, or the captain who was born in New Zealand. You know, that sort of thing. So I don't see them as us as such. And also, it's cricket. Like, if England lose, I don't really care. Like,
well, that's also true.
You know what I mean? Like, if Birmingham City lose a match that they don't even need to win, that annoys me. That actually genuinely annoys me. If England lose a test match, okay, cool. Like, I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching Shubman Gill make our fucking pace bowling attack look terrible and our spin attack not even an attack. Let's be honest, we didn't have a spin attack. It's embarrassing. So, no, if he's fucking 20, so like you let him, give him some time, but you know, maybe make him learn the game at the county level like you're supposed to.
I think the way I would update the test myself personally is like, because the original test was if the two teams are playing against each other, you have to support England versus India. I'm like, well, no, obviously that you don't, right?
Yeah.
But at least support England in the World Cup if India get knocked out, you know.
I think probably quite a lot of them do, don't they?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of them do. That's why I don't really care.
I don't know. I remember, but you do. It's obviously complicated for each individual person because I remember listening to the radio and it was like a 2020 event, and Ian Wright, the former England footballer, whose mother was from Jamaica, right? So like he's exactly the kind of person who's being referred to, and obviously having experienced the racism growing up and all the rest of it, he obviously took to heart the idea of having to be more English than the English, essentially. And so when he was asked by Tony Cozier, a white man from Barbados, and this is speaking to a black man from England. And he was saying, oh, well, who are you supporting? Because it was like a 2020 between the Windies and England. And he was really offended. Like, he almost got to swearing on the live on the radio. Because he was so upset. He was like, I played for England, mate. Who do you think I'm supporting? And he looked to Tony Cozier's mind. It didn't make any difference that you would played for England. Like, the West Indian people and, you know, that diaspora had supported the West Indies team. And that was fine. That wasn't seen as, like, a disloyalty or anything like that. But obviously for that newer generation of young men who'd grown up, it sort of had become that. Now, I wonder whether Norman Tebbit had played a part in that. He must have, I think, to some degree. And that's why I despise the guy.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point I think you're making there. What's quite interesting as well is that there was another really interesting case of this. Is that remember when Kevin Peterson was essentially playing for England because he'd moved away from South Africa because he was angry at the quota system, which is a bit of a bitch-made move anyway, right? Yeah. But because he was South African and the England team had abused Kolpak, really. That really and truly, they'd abused the Kolpak rules to just scoop all of the best talent they could from South Africa to play for England or in the county game as well, right? Everyone questioned Kevin Peterson's loyalty to England because he was South African. So he got a tattoo of the 3 lions on his fucking arm to say, look how much I love the England team, and then got booted out like 6 months later.
True, but they did also give bowling advice to the Australians on how to get English batsmen out. Bit disloyal. Bit actually disloyal, mate. Like, that's got nothing to do with you being South African, it's just you're a cunt.
I mean, you know what Kevin Peterson cared about?
Kevin Peterson?
Himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
First and foremost, and only. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Fun batsman to watch, though.
Oh my god. That 200 against Australia was sublime.
Yeah. I mean, just winning the Ashes in 2005. I remember watching it. I remember the exact pub I was in.
Yeah, and in 2009. Actually, I think my favourite Ashes series was the 2010-11 one that we won.
Oh, yeah, Down Under. That was amazing, yeah.
It was incredible.
That Gabba test, where Jonathan Trott and Cook batted for like a day. Just batted for an entire fucking day.
In a 4th innings, 517 for 1.
I'll be honest with you, Australia should have been kicked out of world cricket for producing a pitch that ridiculous. Like, I mean, that's embarrassing that happened.
The fact that India didn't get booted out for that 4-shot Kotler pitch that almost killed people, you know, like.
True.
Anyway, back to
although
politics.
I will say how kind of sneaky little bits of racism come into the game and you don't even realise it, right? The way in which the New Zealand-born white man, the current captain of England, described the pitch at Edgbaston as a bit subcontinental. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, mate. Firstly, you're supposed to be able to play on any pitch you're given. It was the same for both teams, and you won the toss and decided to bowl, you dopey cunt, right? So that's on you. That's just on you. And secondly, look, what is your answer here? What do we look like? A bunch of Asians or something? You expect us to play on this pitch? Come on now. I know you're looking for excuses, but that's shoddy. Don't be like that.
Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted to welcome President Macron to the United Kingdom. Our relationship has never been stronger, and we're focused on tough new tactics to tackle illegal migration, major economic investment to create jobs.
Whoa. Keith, you've just moved on from your big master plan for the dingy rubber sniffing dogs. I can't believe you just do that.
Yeah, or the oh, for fuck's sake. The dingy rubber sniffing Shan. I was trying to do French, and I forgot. I was so focused on making sure I pronounced the French word right that I forgot all of the English words that came before it, which is not. Fucking hell! Oh, see, you shouldn't have let me stay in the beer garden another hour. That was the problem. I'm blaming you.
Leading our allies to support Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks?
We're going to have to listen to a dozen of them say, can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's fucking arse-licking remarks about 7-7 and not doing Srebrenica again? Yeah. I fucking hate this. It's such virtue signalling nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
At a recent coffee morning, residents...
Like, someone with an Israeli pin flag will say, oh yeah, we shouldn't do genocide again. Like, fuck off.
Exactly.
In Southampton Itchin told me how much they still miss the Bitton NHS walk-in centre that was shut down a decade ago under the Conservatives. So can I begin by welcoming this government's 10-year plan and its commitment to neighbourhood health services. And as we put this plan for change into action for my local residents, does the Prime Minister agree that Bitton is an excellent location for the first new neighbourhood health centre?
No one cares, mate. Nobody cares about that. And if anyone clips me saying rubber dubba dubba dubba, I'm going to knock you out. Fact.
I pay tribute to him for making the case for his constituents, and I know the Health Secretary will give it every consideration. Mr Speaker, the 10-year plan will establish neighbourhood health centres in every community, and that'll make a massive difference, starting in the places where the need is greatest and life expectancy at its lowest. Mr Speaker, I'm proud that we promised 2 million extra NHS appointments in the first year of a Labour government, and we've now delivered £4 million. We shouldn't forget that the record investment that made that possible in the budget was opposed by all the parties opposite.
Leader of the opposition, coming back or not?
Who?
No, I don't know who this is. Do they know the Prime Minister's back? They don't have to have a stand-in. They're supposed to be the leader. What's going on here?
Yeah, who the fuck's Kemi Badenoch?
Never heard of her.
Mr. Speaker, can I echo the Prime Minister's sentiments about the horrific terrorist attack of July the 7th? I was pleased to be at the commemoration service on Monday, and in particular, our thoughts are with the families of those who lost their lives, those who had to go on without their loved ones. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to pay tribute to Lord Tebbit, who died yesterday at the age of 94.
He would have blocked your family from coming here. I just want to point that out, Miss Badenoch. He would have stopped your family from coming here. And no doubt was cringing at the idea of you, or indeed Rishi Sunak, being leader of the Conservative Party.
And in Prime Minister in one of their cases.
And only one of their cases, yes.
Was a man of iron integrity and conviction, who by his efforts helped to save our country from the chaos of the 1970s. We all owe him so much.
He literally destroyed huge swathes of the country. You wonder why you don't win votes there.
Also, like, the chaos of the 1970s that your party caused, right?
Yeah.
Your party did the barber boom in the early 1970s, and you were the ones that supported Israel in the Yom Kippur War that meant that we got hit by the fucking Arab League's oil boycott.
Yep.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Mr. Speaker, in their manifesto last year, Labour promised not to increase income tax, not to increase national insurance, and not to increase VAT. Does the Prime Minister still stand by his promises?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it is rare.
He answered the question. To be fair to him, I don't believe the answer, but he did answer.
I don't believe anything that comes out of that man's
No.
mouth, but it's funny. Like, what's weird is how the Tories don't try and skewer him on the U-turns, right?
Yeah.
They did that bit where you could buy a Keir Starmer flip-flop during the election, right? That really fucking lame joke, right?
Yeah.
But they don't. Liz Savile-Roberts is the person who's come the close to calling him a hypocrite in Parliament.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the thing. Did you see? He's so wrong about everything, Starmer, that he referred. Hang on. Can I find the actual fucking article where he said it? There we go. So he described. He went over to America, obviously, in the recent past, and he came back and he described how he got along with Donald Trump because he understood that Donald Trump was a family man.
The shared family values of grabbing people by the pussy and fucking loads of different women.
He's cheated on every single one of his wives. As well,
I'm sure.
Most recently with Laura Loomer, of all people.
Oh God.
Yeah, family.
You know
man.
what's so sad? You know what's really sad, right? I've seen pictures of Laura Loomer before the fucking.
Yeah, she looks
before
nice.
she
She's
became-
fine. Yeah.
Before she came like a weirdo fucking MAGA freak, right?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, it's such a shame.
And now she looks like she's had a bad reaction to a bee sting.
It's all
Honestly,
very Leslie Ash, isn't it?
It's like, I don't know, a yassified elephant man. It's really weird. Yeah. But yeah, she sucked Donald Trump's dick, and then was out there having a go at what did he describe Kate as? As
Abigail,
that's the one. I can never pronounce
a
it.
bit racist.
Little bit racist, but I think considering what I could have fucking, I can't say rubber dinghy. I think I'll just go with that. She described us today as a socialist jihadist wannabe hooker, which by the way goes hard as fuck. That's an amazing description. Not remotely
I mean,
true, but it is awesome.
Literally, I think I remember posting in the replies, right? When posting replies to that particular tweet with saying, "Will I vote for what is it like a socialist stripper?" And I'm just like the meme of the old people pressing the buttons on the fruit machines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Millennials lining up to vote for Katabozali or to vote for the socialists, the socialist experts, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I like annoying boomers by saying every time there's a look at candidates, let's say Zoran, right? You say, yeah, no, I voted for Zoran illegally hundreds of times. Yeah, love it.
My favourite one is when the New York Post did the headline. It was just like, Zohran Mamdani wants to raise tax on the rich to give free things to poor people. And he just retweeted it with, "My name is Zohran Mamdani, and I approve this message."
Yeah, exactly. Like they don't seem to get it. These people, that if you offer progressive policies to people who like progressive policies, they might vote for you. They don't seem to understand that very simple dynamic. They assume everyone has to be like Andrew Cuomo, and that's it. Everyone has to just be a lying, corrupt piece of shit who gives people nothing. That's the only candidate that's allowed.
Socialist ethot was what they called her, by the way. I'm just checked.
Socialist ethot. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It is rare that he's able to give a clear answer, but I'm glad that he has done so.
Someone in my chat says she looks like Jigsaw now. And she really does.
Oh, no.
You can see it, can't you?
Yeah.
Because he also promised, in fact, he boasted that he solved the doctor strike. But only a prime minister who was so weak and giving 28% pay rise to doctors, only now we see that they're still voting to strike again. He folds in every negotiation and claims that it is a triumph. Yes, he does. And we saw at the budget, Mr. Speaker,
go on, mention Chagos.
The Chancellor promised that she would lift the freeze on income tax and national insurance thresholds because, in her words, they hurt working people. Is that still government policy?
Doesn't she ask about this same shit every week? Isn't it just tax cuts every fucking week?
Well, it just always seems to be specifically about just like the ins and outs of some tax policy, as if what it's actually about is the actual cost of living, what the way people feel things are being hit in their pockets day to day, right? Like, sure, people are going to get angry about tax rises, but the actual fulcrum that the next election, we won or lost on, is, do I feel like everything's better than it was 5 years ago? You know?
Yeah.
Which they won't do, but of course.
Thank you, Lord Fritos, for resubscribing. It says, "How's it shaking, you fucking Angloid?" Well, that seems like you've just done a little racism against me there.
This is anti-British racism.
True. Also, I've just realised, because I didn't hear that, I had to turn my thing back on. So you can now do the YouTube thing where you scare me, because that noise didn't happen earlier, but now you can, if you want to.
Mr. Speaker, no.
I like the stripy dress behind him, on the second row there.
Me too.
She looks like the inside of Brighton Rock, and I appreciate
it. She does.
That.
It's nice. A cute one.
Yeah.
No Prime Minister or Chancellor is going to write a budget in advance. We are absolutely fixed on our fiscal rules. We remain committed to them. We remain committed to our budget, to our manifesto commitments. I realise that sticking to your fiscal rules...
What manifesto commitments? You didn't write anything. It was basically pablum for the most part.
But to be fair, they said they were going to do the good things and not the bad things, and they've done a lot of bad things, Kev.
True.
Manifesto undermined.
True.
Your manifesto commitments is a bit unfamiliar to the party opposite, but it's because of the decisions the Chancellor took, that this government has taken, that we can update the House. £120 billion of inward investment into this country since we took office. Business confidence at a 9-year high. That's longer than the Leader Opposition has been in Parliament. Deloitte this week saying the UK is now the best place to invest, creating 384,000 jobs. What a contrast to the mess that we inherited from the party opposite.
Can we not?
Mr. Speaker, there is no clear answer there. The whole House would have heard him fail to rule out freezing tax thresholds. He could say it in the first question, he could promise, but he couldn't this time round. But what does this mean, Mr. Speaker? He's talking about record investment and more jobs. We know that people are losing their jobs. Unemployment has gone up under Labour every single month since it's their year in office. But what does it mean on this issue of tax thresholds? It means that under Labour, millions of our poorest pensioners face being dragged into income tax for the first time ever. Does the Prime Minister think it is right?
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Wow. I have to contribute something back.
Awesome. Yeah.
That struggling pensioners should face a retirement tax.
It won't be
just income
struggling.
tax.
It won't be struggling pensioners, will it? Like, if they're struggling, they won't meet the fucking income tax threshold.
It's like, it's not a pension tax, it's just income tax.
Yeah.
Everyone pays income tax. That's how income tax works.
Yeah.
Speaker, for a Prime Minister or Chancellor to say we're not going to write a budget in advance isn't a Labour thing or a Tory thing. Every single Prime Minister and Chancellor says they won't. We will stick to our manifesto commitments. We will stick to our fiscal rules. This is a language they don't understand, which is why I have to... That's what got us into the problem in the first place. And whilst she comes here every week to talk the country down, that investment, record investment, £120 billion, that will be good, well-paid jobs across the country. And this investment, Mr. Speaker, is foreign investors who can choose whether to invest in this country. They're choosing to invest in this country now because they have confidence in what this government is doing.
His voice is just fucking irritating. I can't stand him. I can't fucking stand him.
Tom Nicholas made this really important point on his stream. I say it's important, it's really flippant, but I think it's funny.
Friend
So I
of the
think it's
channel.
important-
Yeah.
So it's important to me, a friend of the show. And he pointed out that they're trying to turn Keir Starmer into this kind of cool figure to lead the party. I don't know if you've seen Keir Starmer's Twitter feed.
Oh,
It's all
God,
like
yeah.
these dark shots of him like striding out of number 10, right? Done with like him in like silhouette.
Except
As
we've all
if-
seen him trip over the other day. So
We all saw him like gathering papers at Trump's fucking feet, right? Like no one thinks Keir Starmer is cool.
No.
But I pointed out on stream before that Claudia Scheinbaum does a televised address to the public every weekday, and I'm like, oh, we need someone who can do this. Well, obviously not fucking Keith. are
every
we?
weekday.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's quite a lot. Okay, fair play. Fair
I
play.
mean, this why she's got 90% approval rating.
Yeah, that's strong. Now, to be fair, Keir has a 60. I mean, it's a minus 60, but a 60 approval rating. So, you know. Yes. Thank you, Lace, for resubscribing. In terms of the link you've sent me, send it on a day where I'm not with another person because that just looks weird. I don't want to inflict that on other people. And everyone go and follow Boy Meets Minnow, who is cool.
Do it.
Mr. Speaker, investors are fleeing the country. They're fleeing the country. He says he sticks to his manifesto promises. They promised not to put a tax on working people, and then we got the jobs tax. And all we have seen is jobs disappearing. Before the election, the Prime Minister promised, and I quote, not a penny more on your council tax. The Institute for Fiscal Studies says that now council tax bills will rise at their fastest rate in 20...
If he did say that, that's a phenomenally stupid thing to have said, because that's not in his power to deliver. He can't put an absolute moratorium on that. Councils have independent power to be able to raise it beyond, was it 3% or something? Like, that's nonsense, yeah.
years. Will the Prime Minister admit that under him, council tax is set to soar?
Minister.
No, of course it's not. It soared under the last government. But, Mr. Speaker, here she goes again, back on familiar territory. She comes here complaining about the national insurance rise every year, every week. She comes here complaining about it. And then when she's asked the question, well, would you have the courage then to reverse it? What's the answer? What's the answer? No! And I'll tell you for why. Because she's too embarrassed to say she doesn't want the investment we put in. That investment went to the NHS. They want the investment, they can't say how they're going to pay for it. That is what got us into the problem in the first place.
Mr. Speaker, he still doesn't understand, so I'm going to make it very simple for him. This is a mess of his own making. He shouldn't be asking how we would clean it up. The fact is,
no, this is your mess.
It is actually
you,
your mess, yeah.
Like, literally, you people were in government. You were in government for 14 years, right? And we underinvested in the entire country. Taxes are still too low, right? They didn't raise taxes enough. Yeah, like you just deliberately trying to gut every part of the state so you could give tax cuts for no reason.
Yeah. Oh, so she was lying. The council tax thing was about 23 to 24, not 25. So she, I mean, yeah. So yeah,
it's partially everyone's fault, then I guess, but
yeah. Okay.
raise national insurance through the jobs tax, and that's why they have to put up council tax. The truth is, his catastrophic budget has created a domino effect which he cannot now control. We on this side of the House know that you cannot tax your way to growth. But now he's flirting.
Does she have a nervous problem? Because I'm sick of having to point it out, but her hands shake quite badly. And I don't...
Yeah, I mean, she's very green as an MP, isn't she?
But so, like, yeah, but I'm wondering, like, if it's like some sort of actual nervous issue, like, you know, she's got damaged fucking nerve endings or something. Like, I don't want to take the piss out of it, but if she's literally shaking from fear, stop. That's not healthy.
Yeah. Put in somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing, maybe.
I mean, that's sort of the problem, isn't it, really? Like, who have they got? Maybe Cleverly? I don't know.
I mean, she's literally standing in front of a Scottish Tory sick-ship twat. So they're thin on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that the other day when I saw that the Labour Party's, you know, approval rating had reached yet another new low. I thought to myself, yeah, all of that wasted talent on the backbenches whilst John Lee Crumbles was leader. They're doing so well now. I'm glad they've been released from their shackles.
Oh, apparently, I've just brought up my Twitter feed. Apparently, Jake Berry, the previous Conservative Party chairman, has defected to Reform UK.
Jake Berry? Do you mean Stephen Toast? Oh no, that's Matt Berry. Sorry, different Berry. Yeah,
yeah, so he says that the Tories have
yeah.
lost their way and that Nigel Farage's party is the last chance to pull the UK back from terminal decline. Well, I'm sure that's going to go well for him.
Well, I mean, it's very likely they'll be the biggest party at the next general election. Maybe.
It's just like, people vote for Reform because they hated the Tories. They're now just all Tories.
Well, yeah. And he's clearly been to like a media trainer, because I don't know if you've spotted this, but Farage has started doing the thumb pointing. Never used to do the thumb pointing. Now he does the,
True.
I am a very serious politician thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's just the Westminster thing, man. It just turns you into the fucking Borg. They're all just one hive mind.
But now, he's flirting. They're all muttering, I remember that budget. They were laughing and cheering. They had no idea the mess that they were creating.
Well, yeah, having talked about fucking talent, and then Helen Whiteley's just sat there. Looking like a supply teacher who got lost.
So true.
They should go and explain to their constituents about why unemployment is going up. But, Mr. Speaker, what is more worrying is that now he's flirting with Neil Kinnock's demand for a wealth tax. Let's be honest about what that means. This is a tax on all of our constituent savings, on their houses, on their pensions. It would be a tax on aspiration. Will the Prime Minister...
It's a tax of 2% on people with over 10 million, Keme. Is that
that's what she thinks is middle class.
Yeah,
That's the wealth of her mates.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if that's the voter you want to go for, fine. You'll end up with even fewer seats than I thought you were going to lose. Like you're going to be on what? Will you be ahead of the Greens? Who knows? You could be anywhere. You could literally end up with no seats. If only people with 10 million plus vote for you, you end up with 0 seats. I'm just saying, you know. Actually, it was what the Gyökeres, or whatever his name is, the guy who's apparently signing for Chelsea or Arsenal or something, and they were saying, oh, he's bought a £1 million house in London, and I was like, what? He's bought a fucking box flat? £1 million? What the fuck has he bought for £1 million? A shed? This is London. It's nothing.
Let's just show how shit things are for the Tories. They have not polled higher than 20% on
Yeah.
anyone other than More in Common, who for some reason weight their polls very heavily in favour of the.
Well, exactly.
Conservative Party.
I just rule that out. I don't even fucking count More in Common because I don't think they do. I think they're when you have a consistent outlier, they're just wrong on something. They've got something badly wrong there.
Yeah, literally, you have to. How far do you have to go back for like YouGov to have them above 20%?
Well, this is I always look at because they
April.
they break it down on like how many seats they get as well. So it's not just percentage because like the Green Party get between like 9 and 12% or whatever, right? And then they've always got like 6, 7, 8 seats. Like it's just it's so annoying. But the Tories, yeah, they haven't been above 50 seats in any poll I've seen for months now. And if they get below 50 seats, they're in wipeout territory. Like you don't come back from that as a national party. I don't think. Who was dipped below that and got back and got better? I mean, the Lib Dems did to a degree, but they were always an insurgent party rather than a party of government. So, you know, like I can't see it. They could go the way of the Liberals and the Whigs and the SDP and these various other parties before them.
Fingers crossed.
Minister rule this out.
Mr. Speaker, she says we shouldn't be asking them for advice on the economy. She's absolutely right about that. We will not be asking for their...
Oh, God. You're a prefect, mate. You're a fucking briefcase prefect. That was his big, like, line. Yeah, you're right, I shouldn't ask for your advice. Oh, God, I want to bully him. I'm not a bully by nature, but I feel like he needs to be bullied.
Oh.
He wasn't bullied enough.
We've seen the success of bullying, right?
Yeah.
With the welfare bill U-turn. You know, we need to bully him harder and about more things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Make him wake up every day hating the fact that he's called Keir Starmer.
Yeah. Kevin Party Deutschland. The fuck? I mean, that's the real KPD, obviously. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, the vocal.
What we did in the budget was stabilise the economy through the measures taken by the Chancellor. And what has that led to? 4 interest rate cuts. For mortgage holders, that's hugely important. Compare and contrast what happened to the Liz Truss mini-budget. The fastest growth in the G7 in the first quarter of this year. Wages up more in the first 10 months of a Labour government than the 10 years under the Tories. So no, we don't need lessons from them.
Mr. Speaker, he says he stabilised the economy. Has he spoken to any farmers recently? Yes. It is time for him to take responsibility for the mess.
Well, I mean, as long as they're not like Jeremy Clarkson, they'd probably be fine. They won't face any extra tax.
I mean, the farmers who he will be affecting will be dead, so it'll be difficult for him to talk to them.
True. Again, so they're going for people with 10 million quid or over, and farmers with, was it 2.5 million or whatever and over? Like
between either 2 or 3 million, depending on whether they're in a part, whether they're married or not.
Yeah, so like that again, you're looking at a very thin slice of the electorate you're trying to appeal to here. I don't know if this is your way back into government, Camo. Just focusing on like 2% of the population.
He is making. He has been in office for a year, and all we see is him congratulating himself on what a fantastic job that he has done. Nobody out there believes it. No, not even them. Not even them. What a weak chair. Mr. Speaker, he's congratulating
To be fair, that was a pathetic chair. Because they've just come off a week where they've had to like bully him into maybe being slightly less evil.
And he's got to do it again today. We had to do it again today.
Yeah,
there was another vote on the
So the final, so it gets kicked to the Lords now, who probably won't change it that much because it's the fucking Lords and they like making poor people poor. So.
True.
Himself, we can compare records. He talks about the fastest growing economy. We left him the fastest growing economy of the G7. We cut the deficit in every year until the pandemic. We got inflation down to 2%. On his watch, taxes are up. Unemployment is up. Inflation is up. And this weak Prime Minister has been forced into a series of chaotic U-turns.
That was a really poorly choreographed up bit you had going there.
Now, remember, like, the one time where Keir Starmer sounded reasonable in PMQs? They're trying to copy it.
Yeah.
So it was the Keir Starmer versus Liz Truss, where they were talking about the U-turns on the mini-budget.
Yeah.
He was shit at doing it then as well, but it was the closest he ever looked to looking like he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
It made me so angry so angry that there wasn't somebody less shit than Keir Starmer to bully Liz Truss the way that he tried to bully her in the Commons. Because honestly, it would have been so glorious to do that same bit if someone had any charisma.
Although, to be honest with you, even though I like his politics, I don't think Corbyn would have been the man for that either.
No, it should have been Ian Lavery.
Yeah.
Imagine saying it in a Geordie
It's
accent.
outrageous, man!
It's outrageous, man!
It's always Jamaican.
You know what's making? It's outrageous, man.
If Ian
A
Lavery,
real bad man.
nice reference for a start. And secondly, it would be fucking incredible if Ian Lavery got up and started talking like Michael Holding in the comments.
Speaking in patois in the chamber.
Yeah. Chaman Rasklar.
Six bomber rascal, pussy bomber blood clad eggs. But it should be. He should have been like him doing the fucking rinsing of Liz Truss would have been glorious.
That would have been fucking excellent.
Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the OBR said that our economy is being eroded under Labour. Doctor strikes, tax bombshells, the wealthy leaving in droves. Isn't the truth that under him he is dragging us back to the 1970s?
Mr. Speaker, responsibility. We're responsible for 4 million extra appointments in the NHS. We're responsible for a 10-year plan on the future of the NHS off the...
You're not going to be there in 10 years. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I know you have to pretend, but, like, it's not very convincing. Like, literally, your Chancellor was crying behind you. Yes, like, the other day. You didn't even notice. Oh, I mean, the fucking vibes are just so rancid.
Broke it. We're also responsible for free school meals being rolled out in a way which has never been done by any government. Breakfast clubs being rolled out, family hubs being rolled out, transport across the country, and migration coming down. We take responsibility and we're proud of that.
Lloyd Hatton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Eden project in Cornwall is a proven success story, injecting millions into the local economy. And in Lancashire, Eden Morecambe will soon be under construction, set to create hundreds of jobs.
It's a real Cornish accent we've got going on here, lads. Does anyone think he might have been helicoptered into the fucking sea?
I got on my TikTok feed fucking totally bareback this shit, right? I didn't. I was on the For You page. I got served up a video by fucking Luke Akehurst.
Oh no! Oh.
Literally, the TikTok algorithm thinks that I want to watch videos by Luke Akehurst.
The Zionist strawberry? No.
And he was saying, he was doing the things about what he was doing for his constituency of North Durham. I'm like, hang on a minute, don't you live in Oxford?
Well, yeah, no, he was doing it via fax. It was fine. He seems like an old type of guy who'd be fax. Or semaphore, perhaps, I don't know.
It's about time we had the third instalment with Memo Portland, or Eden Portland, as many like to call it. This will be a world-class attraction, celebrating the Jurassic Coast and transforming the economy in South Dorset. So will
people don't know that, do they? Or not a lot of people know that. All of those dinosaur age names, they're all just bits of Britain. Yeah, it's all like the fucking dinosaur coast and is it the Pembroke coast or some shit like that? Yeah, they're all just named after bits of Britain.
Well, there you go.
That's what you get when you invent stuff. When you're the first to do a thing, even if it's not from there, like, we don't have any fucking dinosaurs here. We were covered in ice. There was nothing here. But you get to just name shit. Yeah.
Minister, back this exciting project and work with me and all of the relevant ministers to secure funding to deliver this project. And ideally, can we use the new Growth Mission Fund?
Well, look, I thank him for highlighting this exciting proposal, and he's a fantastic advocate for Portland and South Dorset. The Eden Portland is a hugely exciting project. I can't confirm funding allocations yet, Mr. Speaker, but our 200...
So that's a no. You're not getting a fucking penny. Shut up.
£40 million Growth Mission Fund.
He looks quite a lot like Michael Walker, I just noticed.
Solid
should
point that
support transformative projects that give local leaders real investment to deliver real change. And I know he makes a compelling case in relation to the fund that's been set out.
Sir Ed David, Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Go on. 10 game Ed, we'll call him from now on. Because he tried to do a good thing. A minimally good thing. And even that was too much for this
The Labour
socialist government.
Making the moral case for socialism.
Speaker, can I associate myself and my party with the Prime Minister's comments about the horrifying terrorist bombings of
No,
7/7?
I'm joking. I didn't mean we got literally no dinosaurs. I just mean like the big fucking thing. Like the ones you see, like everyone thinks because the Natural History Museum's got a big fucking T-Rex, which by the way aren't even real T-Rex bones. That's a fucking made up version of them. The real ones are in storage anyway. Everyone thinks we've got T-Rexes. There were no fucking T-Rexes here. We had little shitty dinosaurs. Rubbish.
Here in London, our thoughts are with the victims, their families, and our amazing emergency services. And can I also join in the condolences to the family of Lord Tebbit? He was a man of service in the RAF, in politics, and as a carer for his wife, Margaret. He will be greatly missed. Mrs.
Trooper, and he nearly did a great service in Brighton once. But he didn't. Sadly.
What?
Because he was in the Brighton bombing. I'm doing an allusion to a thing. Anyway.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry, yeah. Touche.
And when they say he was in the RAF, that was after the war. He didn't serve in the war. Just in case you were thinking, well, at least he bombed some fascist. No, he didn't. No.
So many motherfuckers pretend they were in the war.
Yeah. Like, he was old enough to have fought in the war. He didn't fight in the war. He did national service after the war.
Speaker, after years of Conservative neglect, the special education needs system is in desperate need of repairs. But with parents understandably worried, we already hear Labour MPs planning another rebellion. So can I offer...
Oh, lovely classic joke. We've got loads of dinosaurs in Britain. We're looking at them right now.
Hey-o!
Beautiful stuff.
Also, hang on, pause one second. You see to Ed Davies' right, there's Christine Jardine there with her kind of chin in her hand. There.
Yes.
She
is.
at the time of recording, she was their front bench representative for equalities, you know?
Yes.
She's been fired. Just today. She's been fired.
For...
Can you guess?
Turf?
No. She is actually trans-inclusive.
Okay.
So, there was an amendment to the welfare bill this afternoon, proposed by the Conservative Party, basically trying to screw over people who have smaller kind of disabilities, like mental health things like that, so that foreign nationals as well. It's a really kind of grotesque amendment. And the Liberal Democrats had a 3-line whip to abstain, which is very weird.
That is a bit weird, yeah.
It's very, very weird, right? And so she voted no, because it's her fucking remit to care about minorities like the disabled as part of equalities. And so they fucking sacked her.
That's mental. Why would they
crazy,
bother with that?
isn't it?
Like, surely they would understand why you would do that. Like, I know you're supposed to, like, vote with the whip and all the rest of it, but that's really... Like, do you think it makes you look better to disable people to sack your equality spokesperson for standing up for them too much?
And that's the thing, right? Is that why do you do a 3-line whip for an abstention?
Yeah, that's very peculiar. I don't know why you would even bother. Yeah.
I mean, my assumption is that they essentially don't want to have their name to any vote ever that might piss off any sector of the electorate. It seems like their political position at this point is just, we support the NHS and carers, and that's it. That's
to be fair, they are in something of a bind, though, because I mean, this is the sort of the problem with the Lib Dems in totality, is that there are lots of Lib Dem Tory margin, or there were, let's say, before the reform thing confuses it all, there were lots of Lib Dem Tory marginals in places like the southwest of England and Scotland, whereas there were lots, they were also fighting a lot of Lib Dem Labour marginals in places like, you know, Sheffield and stuff like that. So there were... on the one hand, they had to be more right-wing than their policies were, and on the other hand, they also had to be more left-wing than their policies actually were. So they had to straddle a really difficult divide, which has kept them basically in perpetual nothingness forever.
Yeah, so you have to force our MPs to not have their names on any vote that might be contentious in any way whatsoever, in case it puts off a voter. Whereas if they keep their entire political remit, bar none, the only thing they care about being the national religion of the NHS and being nice to carers, that'll piss off literally nobody.
Well, exactly, yeah. It's like, oh, we're voting for puppies and kittens. Yay. Like, it's, okay, but you're not affecting anything. You're not doing anything. You don't stand for anything. So what's the point of you?
Prime Minister, this. If he genuinely wants to fix the problem and not strip away the rights of children and parents in some cost-cutting exercise, then we have 72 votes to help.
I've really pissed off the dinosaur heads. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, we've got some relatively large dinosaurs. Leave me the fuck alone. Shut up, all of you.
Oh, sorry. According to SocDem, George, she hasn't been sacked. She's been given a big talking to. But she said she might have been sacked when she was told about the vote.
Oh,
Thank you for the update, George.
Well, okay, that's fine then, I guess. Whatever. I don't care.
Why whip in the first place, though?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's very Lib Dem. You're gonna abstain and therefore be middle of the road nothingness, but you're gonna do so absolutely strictly. No individuality or colour or interest whatsoever.
So, will the Prime Minister look at the 5 tests for send reform?
How fucking long is this question going on for? Ed, hurry up! It's not fucking Ed gets to fucking monologue hour.
Today, and work with us to make it happen.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's telling that when he raises the question of the broken send system, they laugh at the back of the Tory boxes. They laugh. That's how seriously they take their responsibility. Absolute shame. But as he knows, every week across the House, people raise this issue with me. I think it's been raised more times than anything else. And everyone knows the system is broken. And again, guess who broke it along with everything else? It doesn't work for parents, and it lets down children. So we do need to reform and change it. That's not about saving money. We've already invested an additional £1 billion into Send, but it is about creating a new system that truly supports every child. And we're developing proposals. We want to work with parents and teachers to get this right, and I would expect him to welcome that.
Sir Ed Davey.
Well, I think the Prime Minister for his reply. We want to work across the House to fix the mess that lay live. We don't want another welfare-style mess this time. We've got to fix this.
Did anyone else have any involvement in the mess they made, Ed? Anyone? You can think of anyone? Literally?
No, because they've only been in government since 2015.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I was about to say, like, anyone in the mirror that you might want to look at for that. No. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologise to all British dinosaur heads. You're glorious people. We had the biggest, the bestest, bigly dinosaurs there have ever been. Now leave me alone.
Properly for parents and children. Mr. Speaker, the Conservative government badly undermined the security of our borders by ripping up the returns agreement that allowed us to send migrants back to Europe. So I hope the Prime...
Ed Davey, I've been given a quote bizarrely by my Prime Ministerial anal sex correspondent, who is also apparently my Lib Dem minor drama correspondent as well. It says, Ed Davey whipped MPs to abstain. A Lib Dem source said, quote, "We are not in the business of dancing to the tune of the Conservatives through symbolic votes and virtue signalling," unquote. Which, like, okay, then so what's the problem with the voting against it then?
Exactly.
Why didn't you vote against it?
Yeah. Why would you not want to strike down a fucking heinous amendment like that?
Yeah. Apparently not. Apparently he doesn't give a shit.
Well, speaking of our Prime Minister anal sex correspondent, this is not the first time today I've had to reference my anal sex correspondent.
Oh, okay. What the fuck was the first time?
On Tinder, right?
Oh, for a second I thought you were going to go, on Navarra. I was talking about the Prime Minister and his predilections.
No. Somebody, we were talking about, someone to talk about politics with me. Like I have in my profile that I talk about politics for a living.
Okay.
And she was like, shag, marry, kill, Truss, Thatcher, May, right? So obviously it was fuck Truss, marry May, kill Thatcher again, right? Very easy to pick those three. And I responded and said, I am on good authority that Liz Truss is absolutely wild.
See, now I kind of want to fuck Thatcher, just so I can rub it in Cybersmith's face, and just be like, "You wanted it, I got it.
I've got it.
I've seen Margaret's Thatch." Okay.
Prime Minister can secure a new returns agreement with France that acts as a real deterrent to stop the votes. And the Conservatives also...
You are, Kieran. You are vicariously someone else's chat-up line, yes. That is what you have become. You're like a wingman without even realising it.
Hundreds of millions of pounds to France and got nothing in return. Does the Prime Minister agree that any new funding to the French government must be conditional on them agreeing a returns deal and doing their bit to stop the votes?
Mr. Speaker, we're working closely with the French on this issue. We'll only provide funding that delivers for our priorities. We are working closely. We share information to a much greater extent than was the case before. We've got a new specialist intelligence unit at Dunkirk, and we're the first government to persuade the French to review their laws and tactics on the north coast to take more effective action. I'll be discussing this at meetings with President Macron both today and tomorrow.
Oh, so all of a sudden you were using Dunkirk to stop small boats all of a sudden. Oh, there's a reversal of history. Jesus. Can just imagine Kemi Badenoch during the war going, the small boats, no, fucking sink them. This is outrageous. Some of them aren't even British. Some of them are from French mostly, but there were some Rhodesians. Just saying. We won't go into it.
To be honest, if she was there in the Commons during the war, Churchill would almost said, "Who let a darkie in?" That's what Churchill would say. Like,
I mean,
you know, that's exactly what he would have said. The guy who said the Indians are a beastly people.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have tolerated someone from Nigeria? I don't think so.
Who lived one of the colonials in? Good Lord.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Or should I say...
True. It would have been unintelligible, but definitely racist.
Yeah, exactly. That's people would have thought of him much worse if they could have understood the racism.
Also, hang on a minute. That's a really red bald spot we've got right in the centre of the screen there.
Where's that? Oh, your man. Hey.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Who's that? I don't even know who that is. But that is, yeah. You have not put your factor 50 on, mate. Or wear a hat. You know.
Recent events. Could the Prime Minister update the House on the work of the COVID Corruption Commissioner? And does he agree with my constituents in Rugby, Bulkington and the surrounding villages that there should be no place in public life for...
Who let young Mike Graham in? Behind him there's Concrete Man.
People who exploited the pandemic and defrauded the taxpayer to line their own pockets.
My honourable friend makes a powerful point, and I hope it was heard on the benches opposite. It's an absolute scandal that failed PPE contracts were handed out by the Conservatives at taxpayer funds of £1.4 billion. We're focused on getting our money back. I can confirm the Commissioner is now investigating fraud involving bounce back and business support loans, and we will continue to go after the fraudsters, the grifters and the con artists, no matter who...
Have you looked down the hall? Because there's a couple in the Lords that really you should be looking at. Come on now.
Quite.
who they are or where we find them.
Nigel Farage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, I sort of stepped on a good line because he says, I'll go back 10 seconds and just hear the end of what your man says, and then it's like as an introduction, as it were.
The fraudsters, the grifters and the con artists, no matter who they are or where we find them.
Nigel Farage.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It is very funny that they've asked Nigel Farage to ask a question immediately after someone's talk about COVID fraud, given that one of his MPs has just resigned the whip because of potential COVID fraud.
True. Also, why is Jeremy Corbyn sleeping on his shoulder? That's weird. It's a weird look, Jez. Just saying.
Some of you want to get in a little later. If this takes forever, you won't get in. Nigel Farage. Thank you.
You are fucking useless. Why do you bother? Why do you bother? Stand up and say something. Don't just go and then sit down. Call them a fucking incorrigible delinquent or something. You don't even say here. You don't even say fucking order. You just you're rubbish, mate.
The main reason this country wisely voted for Brexit back in 2016, and that included millions of Labour supporters, is because we wanted to take back control of our borders so that we and we alone could decide who comes and settles in our country. Does the Prime Minister understand that demand today is even greater than it was back in 2016, and that we demand, the country demands, that you say to the French President, will you shut up?
No, that is a bit out of order.
Honestly, just get rid of the rules. Just get rid of the rules. Just fucking turn it into the hippy dippy royale. Let's go.
Exactly. You call him a stool pigeon. Go on. You can do it now. The rules are irrelevant. Let's go.
You say to the French President, we will not accept undocumented males across the English Channel, and that you are not dictated to by an increasingly arrogant, anti-Brexit French president.
Absolutely worthless.
Mr. Speaker, we are fixing the mess that we inherited. We are working with other countries to ensure that we take the measures necessary to stop people crossing the Channel. They are serious answers to serious problems. His proposal for 10 years, wagging the Tory dog, has been to break everything and claim that's how you fix things, to stick two fingers up at your neighbours and then expect them to work with us. And he votes against the Borders Bill, which gives more powers to our law enforcement to deal with security at our borders. And Mr. Speaker, the reason for that is he has no interest in fixing the problem because he wants to milk it and exploit it. That's the truth about him and his party.
I mean, I don't think he does like immigration particularly, but there's no doubt that he will continue to milk it as long as it's like a thing, yeah.
100%. Also, good point in chat. He's being very misandrist. Well, we won't accept males anymore. Yes, because men are, they're all grug. They're all grug, and none of them can ever be victims of anything ever, right? They need to. If you're a man in a war zone being persecuted, being locked up shot at by the Taliban, you just man up.
Yeah, exactly. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know. Yeah, no, it is. But this is the exact sort of fascist narrative they're playing into. It's an invasion by a foreign army because they're all military-age males. Men. Like what? I mean, yeah. Firstly, those are the ones that are more likely to survive a crossing because of the physical fitness aspect of it, and are the ones that, because they get fucking drafted into as soldiers, are the ones most likely to need to escape. Yeah, so a lot of them are that. Yeah, a lot of the kids, for instance, die. Alan Kurdi strikes me, that particular image.
Yep, it's a very sad image.
Yeah, and we've turned the Channel into a mini version of the fucking graveyard that is the Mediterranean. Are you proud of yourselves, Westminster? Really? He talks about Farage also. Oh, fucking Starmer the prick. He talks about Farage wagging the Tory dog, which is true, but he's wagging you as well. He's dog walking all of you pricks. He's leading in the poll by a fucking mile, or at least in terms of number of MPs won. The actual statistic, the actual percentages are relatively tight in some of the polls. But like I haven't seen Labour getting more seats than the Reform Party in a poll for fucking ages.
Yeah, months and months and months and months.
And every month is a new low in terms of your personal and your party's approval rating in the country.
It's like fucking it's like minus 65 or something stupid right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not far off Liz Truss numbers. Embarrassing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From homelessness to child poverty, so many of the challenges that I see people facing in Exeter can be traced back to early years. So can I welcome how this government is rebuilding on the legacy of Sure Start?
Okay, this is a Morgan McSweeney question. You can just see a mile off. An absolute mile off.
So cruelly dismantled by the party opposite. And can the Prime Minister set out what difference this will make to family services in Exeter?
Well, I'm grateful to him. I've discussed it with him before. He's a brilliant champion for Exeter. Mr. Speaker, every child should have support to realise their potential. And the party opposite tore up Sure Start and took it out of our communities, an act, in my view, of vandalism that abandoned families and deepened inequalities. Mr. Speaker, we're delivering...
A bit like that two-child benefit cap that you could have gotten rid of ages ago, that you still haven't done and aren't going to.
And now not going to do so because of the disability U-term. We've saved the disabled, so we must now condemn the kids.
Yeah. Instead of that's what they were always going to do, and this is a really poor excuse that will lose you more votes.
1,000 Best Start family hubs across the country. That's in addition to free childcare being rolled out and expanding free school meals. That's the change the Labour government makes.
Jim Ramsey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Growing numbers of people are...
Oh, briefcase friend. Sorry.
Oh, friend.
No,
it's a good question. This one,
he's a Green MP. He's all right, but like he's still. I hope it's well. If he keeps asking good questions, Bloomberg are going to withdraw that support.
joining calls for a wealth tax on the super rich, including former Labour leader Lord Kinnock, and today a former First Minister of Wales, and it transpires the Chancellor herself when she was in opposition. So will the Prime Minister stand by his promise that those with the broadest shoulders should carry the largest burden? And can he clarify that that means the ultra-wealthy, not disabled people, the poorest, and children with special educational needs?
Mr. Speaker, I'm really not going to take advice from a party that put forward £80 billion of unfunded commitments at the last election. That's the sort of thing that got us into the problem.
It's a total lie. It's not true.
Also, every time he does this kind of dismissive wank, I just think, I can't wait to see you lose. Like, Farage is going to come in and it's going to be shit, but I will enjoy you losing, you little prick.
Problem in the first place. Mr. Speaker, we can't just tax our way to growth. We need to ensure that we put in place the necessary measures.
Wasn't that literally what Kemi Badenoch already said earlier? So you're just the Conservative Party leader? He's just the Conservative Party leader. That's it.
We're putting in place planning reforms, Mr. Speaker, to drive growth. He voted against it and they voted against it.
Bill Lester.
Mr. Speaker, I am proud that this Labour government is banning fire and rehire.
Although, interestingly, not in their councils, it would appear. Because, I don't know if you heard, but Birmingham City Council today walked out of negotiations at ACAS. They've irreparably broken down now. And are now essentially going to try and do fire and rehire with the drivers of their refuse trucks. That's a Labour Party council for you there. Who, again, I can't wait to see lose. And they will.
I mean, almost certainly. Once people get tired of the rats, they'll probably buy independent candidates as well.
Well, the rats are going to take over. By the time this is over, we're going to have elk-sized rats.
Well, the Rat Party will be standing for election.
They would win. Because we've tried the humans, and it hasn't fucking worked. Let any other species have a bash.
Did you see did you see the Labour Party forced to rerun an election for a CLP leader in fucking London or some shit? Did you see that story?
No, what was this?
They forced an election to be redone from an in-person election because they got the wrong result.
Yeah, because they're not Democrats. Yeah, they don't support democracy.
They did an online election that mysteriously went the other way.
What a surprise.
Another non-voter special.
Yeah. I said they've got a very, ironically, considering they're not really a socialist in any way, they've got a very Stalinist approach to democracy. Just saying.
We're addressing the abusive use of zero-hour contracts and improving protections at work, particularly against unfair dismissal. Reform and their Tory friends voted against Labour's workplace protections. I don't know why they're heckling. When they were in government, they promised to deal with fire and...
Is this a question? I've not heard a question in any of this so far, mate.
Does the Prime Minister agree with me that the people opposite are bellends?
Exactly, yeah. Like, that's not a question. That's
It's
just,
true, though. They are bellends,
It is
right?
true, and you're right to say it, but it's not called the hippy-dippy hour. It's called question time.
Prime Minister's questions.
Yeah.
And despite the scandal at P&O, did absolutely nothing about it. So,
Don't say the scandal at P&O. You'll be fired for that. You can't speak ill of P&O. Heaven forbid.
Yeah, DP World are going to get triggered. They're going to be very sad.
my right honourable friend agree that it is only this Labour government which will ensure people have fairness at work in this country?
Well, I'm proud that we'll give 15 million workers, that's half of all workers, stronger rights at work. And Mr. Speaker, that's sick pay for up to
Wait a minute. Although they were day one workers' rights. Now they're being delayed until 2027, and now it's only half the workers are going to get them.
Brilliant. It's amazing what some tickets at the Arsenal will buy you.
1.3 million of the lowest paid, tackling sexual harassment and bereavement leave for families who experience pregnancy loss before 24 weeks. Compare that to the leader of the opposition who thinks maternity pay is excessive. The leader of Reform who wants working people to pay tax for tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. Both of them vote against reform and better protection of workers at every term. They always have and they always will. They offer nothing for working people.
Sir David Davis.
With permission, Mr. Speaker, before my question, can I tell the House that in the public gallery today there are a number of veterans of Northern Ireland? Given
Also, criminals. War criminals are here.
Yeah, they killed so many innocent protesters. Honestly, it was amazing. You should have
I mean,
seen
to be fair, that was part of Margaret Thatcher's utilisation of girl power.
That was, yes. Famously exposed by Eric Andre, of all people. Okay.
The Prime Minister said about 7/7, I'd like to publicly thank them for their courage in defending our country and our democracy.
Defending? You sure? You sure that's the adjective you want to go with? Because I'm really not sure that was appropriate, really. A lot of bereaved parents who might disagree with you on that one, champ.
Against the first scourge of terrorism. Now, the Prime Minister knows...
That's the first scourge of terrorism, is it? You sure about that?
That every time...
Because literally the word Fenian came into existence as a descriptor for Irish quote-unquote terrorists who wanted freedom for the bit that you did eventually give freedom to. So, like, it wasn't remotely the first scourge of anything, you ahistorical fucking bitch. Why don't you resign and run for your own seat pointlessly again, you knob?
Paramilitary was killed in Northern Ireland by a British soldier. It triggered a thorough investigation. No bullet went...
Yeah, the British government investigated themselves and found themselves to be innocent on all counts. Why don't you talk about...
in what's known as doing an IDF.
Indeed. Why don't you talk about the way in which British soldiers, because they had to account for every bullet they fired out of their own guns, right? So why don't you talk about the regularly used tactics of British army officers who would hand out guns that had been captured from the IRA to their own soldiers so that they could fire those bullets into innocent people and then never have to account for it, because technically no gun was ever fired, officially.
I didn't know that. It's a very interesting fact. A disgusting one, but an interesting one nonetheless.
Almost like they were the terrorists. Do Just a thought for you.
They were literally collaborating with people who were actually described as terrorists at the time, fucking Ulster Defence Forces.
Yep, oh, absolutely. No, they were an extension of the Orange Terror. Absolutely. Yeah.
Unscrutinised. Our soldiers were held to the highest standards of law. The IRA were not. They
Except, of course, you all voted to try and make it illegal for new prosecutions to be brought against soldiers from Northern Ireland. So, literally, any soldier who served in Northern Ireland, you now cannot bring a civil case against to sue for any crime they ever committed in Northern Ireland because of the votes of people like David Davis.
It's identical to the fucking IDF, isn't it? It's just like, we are perfect, we never do anything wrong, but you're not allowed to investigate whether we did or not. And all of our enemies are unfailingly evil, who should never be given any lenience on anything.
Yeah. No, we'll literally starve those motherfuckers to death, even if they're members of Parliament. Who cares?
tortured and shot men in the back.
Literally, if you want more knowledge on that, look into a man called Bobby Sands. Very interesting chap. Also, interestingly, great piece of trollery on behalf of the Iranian government, because the British embassy in Iran, in Tehran, is literally on Baba Sandes Street, which is the Iranian Persian version of Bobby Sands Street. Which is nice. I want to send a letter to Bobby Sands Street to the British embassy.
They forced families to watch their menfolk murdered. They killed women and children with bombs. Yet we're willing to prosecute our own men. Men forced to make life and death decisions in split seconds. If the government get the legacy legislation wrong, at least
it's
50...
true. Hang a minute. To be fair to him, it's true. They did make life or death decisions in a split second. I.e., does this civilian live or die?
All too often, it was the latter.
Retired veterans will be exposed to legal persecution for crimes they did not commit. I've raised this matter 6 times.
If they didn't commit them, they'll be acquitted, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah, like, what's this? Surely, was it the light of truth is the greatest sanitation one can offer, right? Literally, if they've done nothing wrong, you can't convict them of something, right? Do you have so little faith in the British legal system? Although, interestingly, did you see that the study that's been, or the report that's been put out by one of the leading judges in the land suggested getting rid of jury trials in order to save money, right? And I've got an even better one than that. Why not just get rid of all of the courts and just let the government decide? Be way cheaper. Let's have no rights whatsoever, because it's too expensive to have rights. So let's just have no rights. The government just decides whether you're guilty, Judge Dredd style, and that's that.
It seems to be what David Davis wants, right?
Basically, well, if you're in the army, certainly, yeah.
Now since February. So I ask again, on Monday, when we debate this matter in Westminster Hall, will his government protect our veterans, or will it sacrifice them to politically motivated lawyers trying to rewrite...
Politically motivated? Your people, the guys you're standing here, murdered motherfuckers. They killed people. Innocent people. You ghoul. Yeah.
And again, if they didn't, they'll get acquitted, and that's fine.
Yeah, the people, the politically motivated reason of not wanting government state-enforced terror upon a civilian population. Oh, you crazy. Why politicise the murders done by an army on behalf of a government? That's crazy. Don't play politics with it. Honestly, David Davis, I've never wanted you to follow Norman Tebbit any more than I do today.
History with a pack of lies.
Well, can I join him in his thanks to the veterans here today with us and to all veterans? And I mean, he knows this is a serious issue, and the outing of his at the end of his question didn't really reflect that seriousness, because the scheme that was set up by the party opposite.
So his one annoyance was you had to go at lawyers. You wanker.
Well, it was
I was okay when you were just defending terrorists. That was fine, but you had to go at lawyers, and you've stepped over the line. Fucking hell, he's unbelievable. This man. Just everything he says is wrong. Everything.
was found to be unlawful in the courts, and he knows it. And it wasn't supported by the communities. It would have meant, as he knows, immunity from prosecution for those who committed the most appalling terrorist crimes. And that's why it didn't have support in the communities and didn't have the support, I think, of any political party in Northern Ireland. And that was amongst the reason it was found to be unlawful. So we have to tread carefully, we have to get this right. And I'll work with him on that, but we don't get there by cheapening the debate. We will look at the address. It's not about political point scoring. I worked in Northern Ireland.
Okay, Kieran, just to clarify, I know that not every trial has a jury. I'm aware of that. My point is, if we're just going to start going, you don't get your rights anymore because it's too expensive, then fuck it. The law of the jungle rules. That's it. Like, either we can afford to be civilised, or we can't. Make your decision, government, and know that there are ramifications, very serious ones, either way.
To many of the people affected, and I know we must get this right, and I want to do so, and I want the House to do it together if we possibly can, because it matters. But we have to do that in a serious way, to address the issues of the past, of course, in a way that has support of victims and survivors. And that is a key test for me, because without the support of victims and survivors, I think it's very hard in Northern Ireland to come up with something which will have the confidence of everybody in Northern Ireland, which is why we have to work in the way we do. In advance of the new legislation, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland continues to engage with veterans and their communities to ensure that legacy mechanisms are fair, that they're lawful and they're proportionate. And I'll continue to work with him and others in the House, because the most important thing is not scoring points but getting it right.
Murphy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last week I published a report which revealed the terrible legacy left by the party opposite on the NHS locally. Kids in Basingstoke waiting 210 days following a referral for access to mental health services, 3 times the national average. So I welcome the publication of the 10-year plan last week, led by the Prime Minister, to be delivered by a Labour Health Secretary, made possible by a Labour Chancellor. But can I ask the Prime Minister what more the government is able to do to close that gap in mental health services locally and ensure that every kid in Basingstoke has access to the very best mental health services?
Well, I thank him for that. The party opposite...
But only if they don't have the kind of shitty little mental health, which we can just ignore and punish them for. If it's like the serious one, that's fine, but the little mental health, no, you can just die. I don't care. Is official state policy!
Woo!
Able to give children the support that they need. The 10-year plan that we've put forward will rewire our NHS and transform mental health services. 85 dedicated mental health A&E departments giving 24/7 support, specialist mental health professionals in every school and college, benefiting 1 million young people this year alone, and an extra 8,500 mental health staff to tackle long waits. And that is only because of the decisions that we took to invest in our NHS, decisions that they opposed.
Jess Brown-Fuller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to add to the many calls that this Prime Minister has already heard about the broken SEND system. I met with head teachers and SENCOs in my constituency of Chichester last week. They all told me the same thing, that the SEND system is broken, it's adversarial, parents are at breaking point, there are not enough spaces in specialist schools, and the EHCP process is long, it's harrowing, and it's often degrading. Now, I know the government are exploring their options.
Have special needs kids considered buying his wife some dresses? Because then they might get a policy for them. If not, no, you're out of luck. Sorry.
What's interesting on that note, right? There's an article in the Guardian today titled "Labour MPs alarmed by rise in sponsored events arranged by the party." Invitations for receptions sent from parliamentary office included ads for house builders and public affairs firms, which is, I'm just like, well, maybe, right? Maybe when you were standing to be a Labour MP. Because essentially what they're saying is that the PLP has just become a big fucking lobbying group. None of them are there doing parliamentary work. They're just there to be used to try and woo businesses and just become the PLP office has essentially become a public affairs agency. One MP said. I'm like, well, maybe you should have read like all of the articles that all the left-wing journals were putting out, pointing out how fucking many of these people were just fucking lobbyists.
Yep.
options. But will he take the Liberal Democrat calls to introduce a national body for SEND so that we can end the postcode lottery and fix this problem for good?
No.
Well, I thank her for raising this issue, and I know it's of concern to her and to many people across the House. The system we've got is broken. It's not serving anyone well. We've got to reform it, and I set out in an earlier answer the steps that we are taking.
Oh God, reform. Okay, he's going to get rid of special needs kids? He's just going to get rid of them. We're going to cut the number of special needs kids. Fuck it. They don't get to exist anymore. Kim's got an answer for it. I'm never letting go of Kim Ledbetter being the angel of death, ever. She's a fucking monster.
Share those with the House, and I hope that we can get the greatest support possible for the reform that I think everybody here knows has to happen.
Catherine Fuchs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm delighted at the spending review commitment of £445 million for Welsh Rail. A new station at Meigrenundi will take cars off the congested M4, offer greener journeys and open doors for local residents without a vehicle to get jobs. And it's great value for money due to the track and infrastructure that's already in place there. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that Meigrenundi is an excellent candidate to be the first Burn station built so it can start serving local people?
Yeah. Well, it's so good to see strong Labour MPs standing up for Wales and her constituency.
You're going to end up with no Labour MPs in Wales. The way
We should see how many Plaid MPs end up becoming.
Yeah, I saw one they had them on 6, which would be pretty impressive. Certainly far more than they have now.
And they might be the biggest party in the Senate as well.
Which would be, yeah, that would be impressive. Because even most Plaid voters don't actually support Welsh independence yet, but they could end up becoming the largest party in Wales, even though their one core difference really is, independence, and people don't want it yet. They know Wales doesn't have the oil to be able to make it in this crazy world.
Makes her case. I can't confirm the plans yet, but we will consider recommendations from the Burns Commission, which includes a proposal for a new station in her constituency. And I'm delighted, Mr. Speaker, just this week we set out a major road and rail schemes across the country, the A66, Newark Bypass, Midlands Rail Hub, creating tens of thousands of jobs, new homes and better journeys.
You're also cutting the Midlands mainline electrification.
Oh, that's a fucking disaster, isn't it?
Everything this Labour government do is shit. It's just shit. Everything. They're just fucking bad at this.
Because even the good stuff they do is just so watered down and fucking there.
Yeah.
Journeys for millions of travellers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the past few weeks, I've spoken to 5 people from my rural constituency of North Devon who have been forced to
It would have been funny if he'd just gone, I've spoken to 5 people, and then sat down. Just no, I just wanted to say I've spoken to 5 people. It's not a question, it's just an update. It's a Facebook post.
Their own teeth with pliers, or with amateur surgical kits bought online, because they are unable to find an NHS dentist.
I'd also
what would the Prime Minister...
Since when was Devon in Yorkshire?
Yeah, it is a bit weird. Also, what part? Is he in the Lib Dems? They've let a Northerner in. They've let an actual bona fide working class Northern lad become an MP in the Liberal Democrats.
Oh, it's North Devon. Oh, there you go. That's the North.
Yeah, exactly. That's, for the Liberal Democrats, that is the North.
To say to those people...
We don't go as far as Gloucester. That'd be silly.
Mr. Speaker. And when will the government banish this dentistry crisis to the history books where it belongs?
I mean, to be fair, Mr. When will Labour consign this to the history books?
Aye.
It's good. I enjoyed that.
That is nice, yeah. That's the one problem with Lee Anderson. If he wasn't such a fucking idiot, he's got a lovely kind of speaking voice. But it's just a shame everything I say is stupid and racist,
Speaker, another shameful legacy from the party opposite, with 1 in 4 adults struggling with NHS care and tooth decay as the most common reason for hospital admissions for children aged 5 to 9 under their watch. We are fixing this, Mr. Speaker, and I can set out what we're doing. We're rolling out 700,000 urgent and emergency appointments. We're reforming the dental contract and recruiting more dentists, newly qualified dentists, to practice in the NHS for a minimum period. All of that only made possible because of the investment we put in the budget, which they all opposed.
You know what?
It's one answer to everything.
But you know what's an important point, though, about the budget that's available due to investment, is that if you want our budgets to increase, you can invest in us by subscribing on Twitch for $4.99 or for free with Twitch Prime by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account for a free subscription every single month. You can drop bits. You can also do super chats on YouTube if you want a message read out. You can become a member on YouTube. It's 99p. It's cheaper than a can of Red Stripe. Of course, you can also gift memberships to boost the stream and the algorithm and help spread the love around for all those membership benefits, like access to emotes and my archive live streams on my end. And we both have Patreon, and Kev has PayPal as well. And we've been going for 2 hours yet. Kev's had a hype train, but I have had five. I've had five gifts on YouTube. So if people want to throw some more dosh my way, I would be much appreciated.
Yeah, if you want to invest in my
Kevcoin.
in bits messages, you can help me invest in HS 200 bits for text to speech. You see what I did? That was really, really crowbarred in.
Remember, don't forget your Raytheon shilling.
That is true. Yes. No, I am. I'm a company man.
It's true. So thank you for the gift, Gabriel Hellborn.
Speaker, tax evasion, money laundering, illicit goods, illegal working all undermine our high streets like Freeman Street in my own.
How much is a can of Red Strike in Red Strike or Red Stripe? Oh, Red Stripe.
Red Stripe.
In England. I don't know. It's
like £1.50.
£1.50 or something. Yeah, but I wouldn't drink it anyway because it's pish.
Well, thank you, Vaniza, for the 20 gifted. We've achieved full communism.
Oh, nice.
Incredible.
Constituency, undermine local business confidence and challenge community cohesion. That's a reality around the country because of the explosion of vape shops, fake barbers, Harry Potter shops, American candy stores. Will the Prime Minister commit to working with his cabinet to bring in a national strategy?
Is this a Tory? I didn't see where they stood up from, but this sounds like a Tory. Right?
No, that's Labour. That's a Labour MP because you can see the Marsha Cordova to her right.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Okay.
It'd be for Battersea, right? Marsha Cordova.
Oh god, there's Turkish barbers. They're taking over. Fucking hell. £4.50 in a pub. What for Red Stripe in a pub is £4.50? Are you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are you
in London? Yeah.
Joking me? I'd literally drink my piss before I did that. No, not at all. That's outrageous.
Well, thank you, Triple P, for the 10 gifties. That's very much appreciated.
What's the gifties for Kev? No, I'm only joking though. I don't want to be like that.
You've already had your hype train.
Well, I did have a hype train. That is true, but I didn't realise. I didn't get to offer
That's
a
true,
finger
it's
or
true.
anything.
You didn't get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
To
I was too busy sweating my bollocks off in a crab costume. That's what I do for my. I put so much effort into this.
For the scourges of the high street and restore high street confidence.
$5 a month. Mr. Speaker. In March, we saw a major crackdown against criminals using high street businesses to launder money, and with almost 400 properties securing freezing orders over bank accounts totalling more than £1 million and arresting 35 individuals.
You froze bank accounts worth £1 million. Wow, it's not the mafia then, is it?
Well, no, that's the thing is because we keep being told that the money laundering is happening in like the Turkish barbers and the American candy stores, and right, whilst there are plenty of like vape shops that probably are doing at least some money laundering, right? In terms of the scale of the actual amount of money that's being laundered, like the biggest fucking culprit are people who own like giant property empires in London, right? The real money laundering is coming from Russia and the United Arab Emirates through the London property and financial sector. It's fucking Canary Wharf that's to blame for that shit.
It's London grad, yeah.
Yeah, like whilst it's perfectly fine to think that it's bad that some high street real estate is being used for money laundering rather than proper community business, right? But who the fuck has the money to be able to do community business in 2025? You know, you got to be money laundering to be able to afford the business rates.
Yeah.
Much more to come, and I thank you for highlighting this really important issue.
Sir Ashley Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister...
That is a fucking forehead.
Yeah, it's quite. Thank you, Anonymous, for 2 gifties.
Minister was elected on a promise to smash the gangs. Yeah. He said he would reduce small boat crossings. He said
he looks like a drawing from Monkey Dust. The forehead just goes on and on.
He does look like the guy. He looks. It's the guy who pretends to his wife that he's been doing something from a song, but he's actually been cottaging instead.
Yeah. Also, cheeky little Francois. Look at him.
Oh, little Francois on the bottom left.
Little Francois. I think he stood up. I don't even think he sat down. That's him literally like on the chair, standing on the chair. Mad.
he would close asylum hotels. Why are all these issues going wrong?
Mr. Speaker, we are
Let's
fixing the
mess for the
problem that
Tories.
Yeah.
Literally, immediately, I knew it.
Yeah, 22 billion. You voted against it. Yeah, we've been through this.
Okay. They said they'd take control of borders and they lost it. We're working hard with our allies. We want to bring forward more powers for our law enforcement of the borders through our borders bill to give them the powers they need to take the job and deal with it. And what did they do? They voted against a confected argument.
Patrick Hurley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow evening sees the annual National Police Bravery Awards. Three of the...
Well, there's one of the most pointless fucking things ever. I bravely murdered a black kid. Brilliant, thanks.
I bravely went into a house for somebody who'd been burgled, killed their dog, and solved nothing.
Do you know how many burglaries I've not solved this year? So many. I'm really brave, me.
The officers.
Do you know how many 82-year-olds I've arrested for seeing things? Oh, so many. I don't know why I'm doing a York traction for that one.
she held a venomous sign.
Exactly. That sign was a threat to national security, I think you'll find.
Nominated this year are three of the officers who were...
What, sorry?
Hello, what's all this then? I see you've been caught at home with some signs, have you?
You got a licence for that opinion?
That's this is the best village in the country, this is.
were first on the scene of the tragedy in my Southport constituency last summer. So will the Prime Minister join me in paying tribute to Sergeant Gregory Gillespie, Constable Luke Holden and PCSO Timothy Parry?
No, they're all cunts. Fuck them. I don't even care what they've done. They're happy. They also serve on the same force as rapists. I don't care. Have they done anything about that? They done anything about the domestic violence amongst their colleagues or the racism? No.
Bastard Dave.
Fuck them then. I don't care.
Who are with us in the gallery today.
Oh my God! Have they got anyone who isn't absolute scum in the gallery today? You've got fucking murderers from Northern Ireland. You've got fucking ACAB wank faces. Like, what? Who the fuck have they got? Is Satan also up there thinking, well, I don't want a bad name, I better leave? Fucking hell.
Thank you, David, for the
for their immense bravery in the face of evil. And just like our brave officers...
In the face of evil? Were they looking into a mirror?
Heyo!
Always protect and defend us when we need them to. Does he agree with me that this government will always...
Well, yeah, you, because you're a member of Parliament. Yeah, they'll protect you. If I ring them up, they might turn up within a day and do nothing. Give me a number that I have to then quote to the insurance company, and that's about it. That's literally all they're good for.
What our brave officers in return.
Well, can I start by saying that the thoughts of the whole House, of course, are with the families of those that lost their little girls and all those affected by this terrible incident. I would like to put on record our heartfelt thanks to all of those who responded and those that are with us today, Sergeant Gregory Gillespie, PC Luke Holden, PCSO Timothy Parry. These officers ran towards danger to protect young lives, Mr. Speaker. I have met a number of them and it is truly humbling to see the bravery and professionalism that they brought to their job that day and every.
Did police do anything else this week that might be a bit more controversial? Maybe you could mention maybe any arrests that were made. No? Okay.
Every day. Southport is a wonderful and loving community. In difficult days, they've shown kindness, empathy, and courage.
They did boo you, and that was funny. I'll give them that. That was top bands.
And I'd like to thank my honourable friend for all that he has done in relation to those values as well.
Ben Lake.
Mr. Speaker. My constituent, Mr. Brian Buckle, is a victim of a miscarriage of justice. He was wrongfully imprisoned for over 5 years before being...
You're sorry?
That's a premium accent.
Oh no, that is absolutely belting. I could listen to this man talk, just read out the phone book. Yeah.
Literally.
Absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Lovely.
Exonerated at retrial. Now, Mr. Speaker, despite a jury unanimously finding him not guilty...
He's putting some of it on. Unanimously. He's putting so much emphasis on every sound.
It's very musical, isn't it?
It is. It's beautiful.
Of the crimes for which he was imprisoned and the devastating impact.
Also, have you ever seen two people less alike in terms of accents than you've got the Northern Irish sat behind him? No, Speaker, no, like that thing, and then this guy who speaks like a lilting lullaby, like caramel being poured in your ears.
This injustice continues to have on him and his family. His application for compensation was denied due to a 2014 change to the law that requires those who have been wrongfully imprisoned to prove their innocence beyond all reasonable doubt.
It's a shame that he's not speaking patois, because that sentence would have been great. Application for compensation.
That
would have been great.
Fucking excellent. Yeah.
Would have been absolutely banging, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We need more Rastas in Parliament. I think that's the thing we've come to terms with here. Yeah.
This is an almost impossible
Joffrey
hurdle
Archer.
to overcome.
Make Joffrey Archer an MP.
Yeah. He doesn't play much fucking cricket, so yeah, why not?
And so would the Prime Minister consider meeting with Mr Buckle to discuss his case and lend his support to appeals campaign for fair compensation for those who have been victims of a miscarriage of justice?
Well, can I thank you for raising this particular case, which saw a grave miscarriage of justice. In relation to the statutory test for compensation, this has been raised in the House before, and I've undertaken to have a look at it. And I know he's working, I think, with the Minister responsible on the particular case that he raises.
Mayor Liz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Prime Minister for leading from the front in promoting the importance of his role as a father and keeping time for family life. I'm delighted that this government in the past week has launched a review...
Oh my God. Look, I know you don't care, but when Morgan McSweeney or whatever underling passes you this question, practice it. So it doesn't look so obvious that you've just
got your
been
one
given
moment
this.
under the camera, right? Your big moment, the big day.
Like, there's no way you wrote your speech on a three-folded, obviously official letter. You were sent this to say it in Parliament. You did not write your speech and then fold it that way. Obviously not.
into parental leave, and we've started to rebuild the legacy of Sure Start by launching our Best Start family hubs. Both things that will make a huge difference to my constituents in Ribble Valley.
Oh no, to be fair, it is only folded one. Okay, but even so, she didn't write this.
To this parental leave review, creating some truly ambitious outcomes so that we can make the UK not only a world-leading place to live and do business, but also the best place in the world to live a rewarding family life.
Well, I think the first full review of parental leave and pay is a landmark.
So they're going to reform that, by which they mean they're going to get rid of it, or cut it, or undermine it in some way. Cool.
Moment. The current system is simply out of date and too complicated. 1 in 3 dads don't take paternity leave, often because they can't afford to do so. Mr. Speaker, that's a great loss to them and their children. I want parents to be able to give their child the best care and make the system work better for employers.
Final question, Cameron Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Following a week of internal conflict, the Prime Minister should be well prepared if he wants to join me this weekend at the Tewkesbury Medieval Festival, which includes Europe's largest...
Nobody cares. cares? Shut up. Nice tie though. I do like the tie, but no.
Just reenactment. Or perhaps next weekend he'll don his leather jacket and turn it up to 11 at the Tewkesbury Live Music Festival, hosted by hospitality venues across the town. Regardless, will you join me in thanking the volunteers and those hospitality venues that make Tewkesbury the unsung nucleus of Gloucestershire's culture? Thank you.
I wasn't aware that Gloucestershire had a culture, other than mildew, maybe. I don't know.
Farming.
Yeah.
Surely.
Mushrooms are a kind of culture.
Mr. Speaker, what an invitation. I'm grateful for the invite to join the medieval festival. But if I wanted to see a load of people stuck in the past and fighting each other, I'll probably go to the next meeting of the Shadow Cabinet. I'll consider it. Thank you.
That's quite a nice dad joke. I'll let him off with that. I mean, it's not really fit for the Commons, but it's a nice dad joke. I'll let him off. Anyway,
wasn't told very well.
No, because he's not very good at it. But you know, it's still funny. Anyway, yeah, that was fucking awful. How do they choose? I think it's mostly at random, based on the percentage of MPs you have. I think so. Like, if you've got more MPs, you've got more chance of having MPs ask questions, which is why like Plaid Cymru don't get to ask me now, because you know there's two of them. Or when Caroline Lucas was the sole Green Party MP, like she'd get called once every 6 months or something. It's really unfair, but like she's won, like, you know.
Like once every 6 months is probably actually above average as
yeah,
well.
she the Greens were disproportionately represented at PMQs. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yes. What was the other thing you wanted to take a look at?
I was going to watch something about doctor strikes, but this has taken us 2.5 hours. So
Yeah,
I've been going since 6 p.m.
I did think it was ambitious that you were going to try something after this, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Are you continuing on, Kev?
No, I'm gonna go to bed, frankly, because it's 10 past 11, and I'm beginning to sober up, and that's not a good thing. So
yeah, so I'm gonna raid out YouTube viewers into President Sunday Prime. Who should we raid into on the Twitches?
I don't know. Let me have a look. We've got on the YouTubes.
JFK rotting. I think we can go. I'm going to go into on the Twitch.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Bing, bing. Oh, they're watching Cody. Okay. Is he putting sticky tape on himself?
No, that looks like bandages.
Is it?
Like cast, like actual cast.
Yeah, not plaster of Paris. I don't know.
Plaster cast.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of this. Right. Thank you everyone for listening, watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Thursday. Nothing special going on Thursday. We'll just do something. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I will also be here tomorrow, probably in the afternoon, because I've not done an afternoon stream this week.
Cool. Yeah, everyone go and follow No Justice MTG on all the platforms.
Follow KFLogan1875 on Twitch, Ploppy111 on the YouTubes, and not KFLogan1875 over on Twitter.
Cool. Yes, Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. That's very in unison. See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.